Welcome to Samadhi Game. This is impromptu. It's been a rough day for a lot of people. And we've counted our blessings and thought that we should stop and rest for a few moments and give prayer and energy to those that are going through so much, and send out our hearts in compassion to those around the planet, to some of our clients that we met today, to other people that have been that we know of that are in deep and difficult times. And so thank you for joining us, Lisa. Thank you for those who will be watching this archive, who might be joining us later in the archived versions. We thought we'd just give a few mantras to wind up the day and to bring the energy into focus, given this horrific information that we've just received from the Middle East, in Syria, where chemical weapons have been going off and creating the most upsetting and most horrific scenarios of death for loved ones. So let's go into Samadhi Game, doing these mantras to bring back a level of sanity and soberness, and the pillar of light, the pillar of the world within our own hearts, so we can continue to stand strong amongst these difficult times. So please join us with Samadhi Game's opening pillar of light, the pillar of the world. Sublime I am, Samadhi that I am, enfolding me now in that mighty, magic, electronic pillar of cosmic light substance. My identification with its magnificent humility and thoughtful creativity, so powerful and complete, that I artfully and magically alter every polarity with healing unity. Within this majestic pillar of light blazes that love as the violet, compassionate flame, into and around my etheric, mental, emotional, and physical bodies, effortlessly dissolving, consuming, transmuting, and reconciling the dualities of my human ego, charging my world and all I contact with the tangible substance, loving awareness and conscious activity, the presence and superconscious samadhi of all enlightened beings, liberated and ascended masters, seeing, feeling, and hearing this light as it shines, radiates, and resonates within me as a visible pillar of the world, stabilized, supported, and sustained by the brilliant, elegant One, and infinitely sensitive to that invulnerable state of divine I Am Samadhi. Om. 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 And the last part of that, we all know it. Eternity is my home. I do all that is necessary to actualize this ever-fresh realization and organize my life around it. You want to explain?
Jamie, the Syrians, President Assad, he unleashed cyanide on
Chemical weapon grade.
On villages, and there's thousands of children and people dead. Then they suffered horrible death.
Yes.
And I actually posted the videos from there in Arabic. We have to stop this hate in the world.
Yes, we do. And I know each of us is bearing a burden, and each of us has a tendency, we all have the tendency to get angry, to lose our tempers, to do things that are rash, and if it's at all possible for us to make every effort between the group of us to hold to that center and to stop and count to 10 before we react to something or someone, even our loved ones, our family members, not letting them taunt us and draw us into the whirlwind of karmic interactions. Because what we do on an individual scale affects the international scale, the world scale. And so the best thing we can do is stand close to our presence, to pray into that presence. Pray, pray, pray. To say your affirmations, to get yourself close to that presence. And so Samadhi Game offers this opportunity for us to be close to the presence of God. Many people think that it's important to jump into action and have a response, and oftentimes that's just not the right thing to do. We need to stop, count to 10, have time to go into the heart, and then refine our action so that it doesn't come out as a knee-jerk reaction that hurts someone. And I have a feeling that what's happening in the Middle East is that the tensions have become so heightened, and the reaction of what's his name? President Assad, his reaction to the protests against him, evidently, was a knee-jerk one where he shot off a chemical weapon into a crowded neighborhood. Thousands are dead and maimed and injured for the rest of their lives. And if that weren't enough, the emotional trauma to
They're
all...
afraid to go to sleep because he does it at night.
To all will be horrific. It's horrific for us to even know that this has taken place on the planet. In our days of happiness and joy in the communication revolution, the connection revolution, and the welling up of light as it's never come before, but this is sometimes what happens, and the darkness still exerts its presence. We talked about it this morning. So let's go on. Give a few more of these mantras. I thought one of the best ones we can give right now is this odium reflecting one-way mirror, I am, surrounding each and every person in the Middle East, all of our friends, all of our family, to protect us all from the emotional trauma of even knowing that this took place. And so that we strengthen that neutral witness within us and hold, because this kind of energy on the planet has a shattering effect, whether you see it or know about it or not, through the chakras of us all. And this can help to maintain our clear line of connection to the almighty source I am within us. So let's go. Let's give this next mantra. About this pillar of light, this pillar of the world, this forgiving Samadhi that I am, here manifest now about me, a one-way mirror reflecting back to its sender. And here you can add the names of all odium, directing people or places or things. We might call for the redirecting of the negativity back to the sender, President Assad, that he might have more wisdom and be able to deal with these things. And actually, at this point, it's almost necessary to have justice for his blatant disregard of life. All odium, hatred, ill will, disgust, abhorrence, repugnance, revulsion, loathing, detestation, obloquy, opprobrium, vituperation, condemnation, denunciation, abuse, criticism, censure, defamation, denigration, calumny, insults, castigation, excoriation, disgrace, dishonor, shame, discredit, stigma, humiliation, loss of face, ignominy, disfavor, disrepute, infamy, stain, hostility, antipathy, anger, abomination, and scandal. And when we reverse the tide, we actually hold up our hands in a way that has an effect of rolling back negativity, as if you were to think of your hands as that mirror reflecting back the negativity. And so we hold these hands up for all the abused, all of the dying,
painful,
the painful. All hold up these hands and reverse the tide of the negativity, and pray that there's not an outbreak of more, even greater and more pain and suffering as a result of this. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, roll them back, roll them back, roll them back, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reverse the tide, reflections command. Here, manifest now and present to Assad and all the cronies. All forgiveness, pardon, absolution, exoneration, remission, dispensation, clemency, mercy, reprieve, amnesty, grace, compassion, charity, forbearance, quarter, humanity, kindness, empathy, tolerance, generosity, boon, favor, peace, magnanimity, and beneficence, in the fullness of cosmic joy. We accept this and miracles manifest here and now, with unconditional love, wisdom, and power, anchored in the earth, air, fire, water, and akasha, and tangibly manifest in our lives and the lives of all evolutions of light throughout cosmos. So we're just finished with our day. We're close to finishing it with our day, and
we have to help finish Dante with his
homework. So we can't stay for any longer. But
we had to put something.
We had to put something into.
Terrific.
Yeah, this is.
Gregory and I both put some of the videos straight from Syria that are on YouTube now on our wall. Let's see if they stay up. Because there is no news.
There's no news of this in the American media. So we don't know why that is. But the reports from Syria look convincingly true and real. And I don't see how it's possible that what we're seeing has not happened, given the evidence of seeing it with your own eyes.
And after you watch one video, they have like 20.
Yeah.
Of the outside, how it happened, and people gagging, of the little kids dying and gasping for air, and the nerves, and then their last breath.
So guard yourself when you watch these things, and make sure to hold, do your prayers, do your mantras, but hold to that inner core of joy. And nonetheless, someone has to hold to the joy. Someone has to hold out this hand of compassion, this strength and courage of love, even though others on the planet are not able to access it right now. So watch it, be aware of it, pray for the resolution in timely and in an effective manner, but don't let yourself get sucked into a negative hole of disconsolation. Warning. And we love you, and we're grateful for your prayers.
Thank you.
And grateful for your attendance, and to the light and to the love. Keep it up. It's helping the planet, even though it may feel as though you're being challenged. Stay with it. And know that we're here, and you're there, and we're together a tribe.
Yes.
Om, peace, amen. Love you. Good night.
All right, good night.